What's up, folks? Welcome again to another episode where we are ranking whole discographies of hard rock, classic rock, and heavy metal bands. Welcome to Talk and Rock episode 3. I'm your host, Mike, and tonight I'm joined again by my partner in crime, all the way from Germany, Rainer, to take a deep dive into the hard rock, bluesy metal band Whitesnake from UK. Rainer, welcome aboard once again. It's a pleasure to see you. How are we doing?
Good to see you again, Michael. I'm doing very well. Nice weather, a nice podcast ahead. I think Whitesnake will be really a very, very, very interesting one. And the main reason I think is that there is not even that one Whitesnake. Whitesnake is a series of things that's reshuffled. So therefore, it will be very interesting. And I think also we will have here and there again some different opinions, but that's how it works.
For sure. For those who are here for the first time, feel free to check out the podcast what we did with Rainer and another friend of ours. We already analyzed Iron Maiden, we analyzed Dream Theater. Next is Whitesnake, a beautiful crystal clear discography, neither long, neither short, nor short. 13 albums. We are not including the Snakebite, the EP, obviously, but we are included the Purple album. And 30 members in total. Wow. I mean, with only Coverdale being the constant member, obviously the god. Yeah.
I
So
mean, in all honesty, it's a long going David Coverdale project, and he was always in the lead when it was into changing the lineups and changing the sound. So therefore, I think it was and is still his baby. So therefore, that's crystal clear.
makes you wonder if he's a hard person to work with.
Absolutely, he's a strong character, that's for sure. As far as we can observe this from the outside, but he knows exactly what he wants. But we will get back to that when we walked through the discography. The discography describes that, I think, very well.
I'm listening the last month, the whole discography. I had a blast digging out all these and everything. Learn a few songs that I haven't listened like ever. Whitesnake is one of my favorite bands, and I can say with certainty that there is no single bad album.
Agree. I agree, Michael. I
Well,
agree.
we have to rank them somehow because it's this how it's gonna go. So for those who are here for the first time, if you want to stay until the end, the way this is gonna go, like me and Rainer, we're gonna be taking turns, going all the way from the bottom to the top, ranking the albums in the style that we like. It's a matter of personal preference. So stick until the end. Subscribe to the channel for more content if you like. Top 10 Whitesnake songs coming within the next 2 weeks, also in YouTube available. So be sure to subscribe and comment what is your ranking list. And we are ready to start. My guests are always starting first, so Rainer, the stage is yours. Let's see what you have in the number 13, my friend.
So the number 13 is the most clear one, to be honest. It's the Purple album. I I wanted to say it very harsh that it is a disaster, but I don't think it's a disaster. I think it's an experiment that was already condemned to fail before it started. Why do I say so? I mean, the background is I'm a deep, 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 deep Purple fan. So therefore, I really struggle with the sound of the more glam metal section and hair metal sections when I listen to that old Deep Purple stuff. And then I was reconsidering, and I thought, well, don't be unfair. It's logical that it can't work because when you don't have Ian Pace on board, when you don't have Richie Blackmore on board, and when you have more that American style um, combo in the background, making all the music around those old Deep Purple songs. In reality, this cannot work, and you can see this also when I judge the album. I put it into two halves. Where it works quite well is with songs like The Gypsy or Might Just Take Your Life or Soldier of Fortune. So where the David Coverdale voice is really in the front and carries the song and is the essence of the song. Where this album doesn't work is with songs like Burn, especially You Fool No One, Mistreated, or in the end also Lady Double Dealer. And there I came to that conclusion. Without Ian Pace, especially, you cannot play these songs so that they sound really like the old Deep Purple stuff. However, they did it in the end quite well. But in the end, I come to my judgment. It's an experiment that failed, and that's it. So therefore, it's on my 13.
All right. My number 13 is also the Purple album, but
Mhm.
for different reasons. I'm
Yeah,
here to rank Whitesnake. I'm not here to rank Deep Purple. So it was a nice experiment. Too bad that Blackmore was not on board. They couldn't come to the common ground with Coverdale and make something. I feel that there are some songs that they bring this fresh air from the way the songs were recorded, like with more modern sound, and I kind of like that. But I don't really want to spend time and analyze what I like, what I don't like. It's not for me a Whitesnake album. It's a cover of Deep Purple songs. So for only for this reason, I'm just going to put it in the last position, and we can just continue to number 12 with the actual Whitesnake discography. I'm actually surprised that it's even considered like a studio album from Whitesnake. I mean, it's kind of weird, the whole idea. But okay, stuff that Coverdale wanted to do. It was actually his wife's idea. But anyways, yep.
yeah. No, I agree with you. It's definitely not a pure Whitesnake album. Okay, so then coming to the number 12, and the number 12 is, and it took a long time to make that decision, but number 12 is Trouble. So the first album. Um, I do like that album. It's not that I think that it's the worst Whitesnake album, but it has lots of ups and downs to me. It comes a little bit from the history, also from the first David Coverdale solo projects, like with Northwinds. So it has that very 70s sound. It's a nice introduction, especially of the duo Bernie Marsden, Mickey Moody. You can hear this especially on the title Belgian Tom's Hat Trick. I love that title, especially the live versions. Very, very nice to hear. But on the other side, it has also a nice Beatles cover, The Day
Yep.
Tripper. Some people even don't recognize that it's an old Beatles song. It's a very, very nice cover version of that.
Day
Uh,
Tripper.
exactly. I love it. I love it. And also, Time is Right for Love. A very interesting song, to be honest, but I
Great,
think
great.
it's not there where it needs to be to pick up the elements that in the later stages made Whitesnake really Whitesnake. So therefore, it's a nice introduction. It missed the right drummer, if you ask me. So the second album was much better when Ian Pace was on board. Also, John Lord then in the later stages helped a lot to bring some structure into the compositions and everything. So therefore, a nice first album, but nothing more. But as said, with some interesting aspects.
This lineup with the difference of pace is in the first five. The first five albums, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm very interested to see how you're gonna rank the oldies. I'm very curious because I know you like the oldies more than the modern, and
Yeah,
I'm more into the modern, but I love the oldies as well.
yeah.
But surprisingly, my number 12 is Fresh and Blood,
Oh,
the actually latest, and I'm gonna explain. At first place, the the guitar combination of Reb Beach and Hoekstra, I think both they are phenomenal guitar players. Reb Beach, he's known for playing in the winger. He replaced George Lynch in Dokken. This is huge shoes to fill in. He's phenomenal guitar player, and Joel Hoekstra is one of my five or top five, top six guitar players. And if I wanted to surprise you, I actually had an online class with Hoekstra 1 month ago, guitar class with him. And
wow.
the guy is out of this world. He's a phenomenal guitar player. But anyways, we're not saying how they are. I love the guitar combo Hoekstra Reb Beach. I love Aldrich. From all Whitesnake drummers, Aldrich is my favorite one because he's a heavy rock drummer. What I love about Whitesnake, he's not a bluesy, old style. So The album itself, it's a for me, it's a very long album. I almost got tired out of it. It's a very long album. Uh, there are good tunes in it. For example, "Hey You" or "Fresh and Blood" or "Gonna Be Alright." There are great stuff in it. The thing is that there are other albums that I can listen from the top to bottom without skipping anything that I enjoy way much more. And the sound that comes with this album, that it's more modern and more heavy rock, is something that I've seen already and it didn't surprise me. I mean, it's a great album. It's a very solid one. I just cannot put it higher because, as we said, 30 members across the whole Whitesnake group. Uh, I cannot say that Ho Extra Red Beach is my favorite guitar combo. So I'm gonna go into this later, but Ho Extra Red Beach, which are phenomenal guitar players, it's not my favorite guitar duo in Whitesnake, and that's why I'm not putting the album higher.
Interesting. Interesting, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't disagree. But I can't disagree. It says everything about that album. It comes a little bit late on my side, but anyway,
Check out
it's
Joel.
for sure not of their best. Yeah.
Check out Joel Ho Extra with Revolution Saints. Check his personal work, Joel Ho Extra 13. Beautiful stuff. The guy is a beast. But the album is just great rock album. Okay, that's it. I'm not dying for it.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna be surprised with my number 11. You can continue, my friend.
Number 11 is the album Love Hunter. So that's the album when John Lord joined.
Wow.
And the tour after the Love Hunter album, then Ian Pace was already on board. So especially the later part of the tour was with Ian Pace already. You can listen to that on the live album Live in the Heart of the City, where on the second part, Ian Pace is already on drums, and you can hear immediately the changes in the sound, in the support from the drum set, in the composition wise. So that was very, very, very close to some part of the Deep Purple sounds. So I like that change. However, Love Hunter, it's something that made, especially with John Lord, the composition is much more balanced. Um, I love highlights like "Walking in the Shadow of the Blues." It's a fantastic and phenomenal song. It's one of their first. I would always say in Whitesnake case, little epics. It's not the real epics like we have with Dream Theater, but it's some kind of epics. It's a little bit more complex composition. So I love that. The title track "Love Hunter" is a no-brainer. It's a fantastic and phenomenal song. And what I like especially on the title track "Love Hunter" is that very, very special slide guitar played by Mickey Moody. That in the first period always made the difference towards other bands of that time, because the way how he played the slide guitar, the way how he interacted with Bernie Marsden, absolutely phenomenal. I always liked that very well. And then my personal, very, very short and small highlight of Love Hunter is the, to me at least, almost iconic song "We Wish You Well." And why do I think it's iconic? They had that very, very smart idea, and that shows how David Coverdale works when he considers that kind of songwritings. He had from the very first beginning the idea this would be an excellent, very short song that in the future live versions, and when we go on tour, we always can close the set at the end of the encore. And this is what they did. It was always the very, very final song, and it's a great song to say goodbye to the audience, to say "We wish you well, see you next time." Very melodic, a very short song, but I love that iconic song. It's super special, and it shows how much emotion David Coverdale can put into his voice. Absolutely fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So therefore, great album, Love Hunter, but mm, still not one of their best.
Let's talk a little bit about the artwork that was banned in Argentina and US. I love it, man.
Absolutely, and let's get back to that later because there is a link between the Love Hunter debate and then the Saints and Sinner cover artwork that they made. It was an ironical reply to that debate that they had about the Love Hunter. But let's get back to that later.
I'm very surprised to see you putting Love Hunter that low. Very surprised. But you're going to be also very surprised for me putting Saints and Sinner in number 11.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a big surprise.
it is a big surprise. I feel that from the first five albums that we have the almost the same lineup with difference the pace on the drums. I feel that this album is by far the weakest, and I cannot say if it's because there was not proper communication within the band members or proper motivation. Because after this album, members were fired, the job was done in the end, but unfortunately, it was the end of an era for Whitesnake. So there is a lot going on within the personal relationship of the members, and I don't know if this is why the result was like this. But anyway, let's focus on the album that it is the weakest, but it's not a bad album. I just feel that it has. I don't know. I personally like five or six songs. You have, for example, "Here I Go Again," obviously, "Crying in the Rain," "Victim of Love." I can add also "Love and Affection" there. Even though "Here I Go Again," I like the more modern version later on. So there are huge hits here, great stuff, but I don't have this sparkle when I listen to the first five albums from that era. This is my weakest. So it has to go for this reason in this position. There is nothing wrong with it. It's a solid one, but I cannot say that I like 10 out of 10 songs, for example. I don't. So, yeah. Number 11, Saints and Sinners.
Perfect. Thanks. By the way, before we continue, great artwork for the podcast this time with the white snake logo in the middle. Very well, Michael. Love it.
Yeah,
Sorry
it's
for that.
also my teaser.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I love it. So then I think if I count right, we come to the number 10. Um,
Yes.
and the number 10, yeah, it was difficult to me to rank number 10 higher than Love Hunter. There are some reasons for that because number 10 on my side is Slide It In. Slide It In
Wait,
is really,
what?
really, really for me some kind of,
Wow.
yeah, is it a bridging album? I don't even think so. So I think when you look at the history of that album, it was created under a huge time pressure because David Coverdale had already in mind he wanted to be there to surf on the wave of the glam rock history in that period of time. He wanted to go to the United States. He wanted to change the sound from a British blues rock band to a United States hard rock band. And I think he was not there where he wanted to be when he made that album. And then I mean everything came together. I mean the album Slide It In was released in January 1984. On the 16th of April 1984, there was the press release that Deep Purple will reunite in the Mark II lineup. So therefore, you just see that in the background was already lots of things going on. I mean, Bernie Marsden already left the band. Mickey Moody in the studio, he was still there, but then they made some kind of second recordings where the Moody guitar was already faded out and exchanged by other things. So you see that there was really some kind of revolution within Whitesnake and a huge change. And you see that David Coverdale wanted to go to a more modern style. He wanted to become popular. He wanted to get into the radio stations in the States. He wanted to go to the big festivals in the United States. So therefore, he needed, I think, that album to crack things up.
But it did.
Um, and, and and yeah, it did indeed. On the other side, I don't think that it's composition-wise a very excellent album. It has its nice sounds. So I mean, with Cozy Powell, they got much more hard and heavy style. That's for sure. Um, then the second thing is, I mean, they had some nice songs like The Gambler. It's a great opener for this album. I like to hear it. I like to listen to it. Uh, some kind of hard rock anthems like Slide It In, Slow and Easy, All or Nothing. That's very straight, but that's
I-
exactly the point.
but it
It
has
turned from
Love Ain't No Stranger.
yeah, I know that you love that. It's not my cup of tea, to be honest. So therefore, I struggle with that album a lot, because I don't smell any kind of highlight that triggers me where I say, this is what I want to hear when I listen to Whitesnake. There are even some more modern albums which are then so modern and so much more in the heavy area and so much more in the glam rock area that I can accept this. But this album, it has a little bit of the old things of the blues rock area. It has a little bit of the glam rock already inside. That there is a little bit of John Lord, but not really driving things like on the first albums. And so therefore it leaves me really a little bit in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, that's the reason why it's on number 10.
Which version you like more, the US or the UK?
The UK version, because in the US version, you even can't hear John Lord anymore. It's almost totally faded out, and also I think the Mickey Moody guitar was exchanged already. So therefore, very difficult for me to listen to the US version. The UK version is okay. The US version, I think that doesn't work when you change things after the original recording. It makes the things too artificial, and then it's not really a rock album to me anymore. But that's my personal opinion and my personal preference.
I'm very surprised, my friend. Uh, wow. I guess this podcast is going to be full of surprises again.
I'm sure it will be continued for sure. Believe me, trust me.
Because if I'm not mistaken, in the US version, Sykes added stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
One of the reasons. The funny part is that in the slide it in that almost, I'm not sure if you know Michael Senker.
yeah,
He almost joined the band, but in the end they offered the money for the Sykes, and he just went for the money. He just went for the money clearly because they wanted a guy like Sykes in the band. But
yeah,
anyways, you can hear the more, I don't want to say virtuoso play style in the US version, but it's heavier, and that's why I like it
yeah.
more. But okay, it's my number 10, right? Okay, my number 10 is, I think, the most unique sound wise album from the band. It feels that, not it feels, it was supposed to be a Whitesnake solo album. David Coverdale solo album. I'm talking about
Mm,
Restless Heart,
yeah.
1997. A great album. And that's actually the only one with Vanderberg recording everything. It sounds, the reason that this album goes very low on my list, it's because it's very different from the casual Whitesnake sound, and it doesn't remind me of any era in particular.
Mm,
It's not heavy, it's not modern rock or metal, it's not bluesy. And that's, it's a little bit frustrating, because if it was Coverdale solo album, I would be like, wow, let's go, I love it. But it's Whitesnake, so yeah, there is not a single Whitesnake bad album, as we said. This just falls short because it's simply too different. So, uh, again, we have different lineup here, and what I actually like about this album the most is the Too Many Tears. Too Many Tears is one of my favorite Whitesnake songs. I'm not gonna push it too much and say top 10, but I can easily say top 20. I like it very much. And the sound of this album reminds me a little bit of the sound that was in the Coverdale Page album, and I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it.
absolutely.
And of course, there is the other hit that I like the most, that I like very very much. All in the Name of Love. So the first like 5 6 songs of the album is great. The more down we go on the album, the weaker it gets. So that's why it goes to my number 10 position. Great, solid album, different from the typical Whitesnake sound, but I still listen to it. Like I was listening to it a lot actually, and I like it very much, but not more than others. So yeah,
Fantastic. You nailed it to the point. I mean, that's why I said in the intro that there is not that one thing called Whitesnake. It's a development. It has so many changes, and definitely Restless Heart is one of the biggest changes in the history of Whitesnake, and it shows that it's really a series of David Coverdale projects in the end, and not so much that one unique band like you have it, for example, with Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden, that's one history, and then you have it, and you love it or you don't like it. In Whitesnake, it really goes through those passages, which makes it very interesting, to be honest. So therefore, I like it. So,
number
where
9.
are we? Number nine. Number nine. Now, number nine on my side is Flesh and Blood. I agree with you. It's really not one of their best albums. I especially I think I don't want to repeat too much what you already said. That the one of the main points for me is, first of all, it had a quite nice sound, but the nice sound cannot compensate that at that time the voice of David Coverdale had already various issues and was not the real David Coverdale voice anymore. So I think that they made the best out of that by putting a lot of sound into it. But anyway, you can hear that David Coverdale was already, yeah, with struggling with some issues. Let's put it that way. The second thing is, I think that album is definitely once again the attempt of David Coverdale to make it back into the charts. It was his maybe his final try to get back into the charts, to get back into all the rankings and the radio stations, especially in the United States. You can hear this when you listen to Always and Forever. Always and Forever is a typical radio edit sound, so something that you write when
It
you
is.
want to get into the charts. And that's the reason why I think Always Into Forever is a little bit boring. But anyway, if you compare it to other stuff from Whitesnake. However, there are some nice exceptions on this album. The song "Gonna Be Alright" is a quite nice example.
Yeah, and the Hey
Um,
You as well is phenomenal. I think.
yeah, that's that exactly. I just wanted to name it. Hey, you make me rock. That has some very interesting arrangements. It's not that simple straight as on some other Whitesnake albums. It's really almost complex as far as a younger Whitesnake song can be complex. Um, Heart of Stone is a nice melodic song. It's
Hmm.
not that boring like Always and Forever. It's a nice melodic song, nothing more. And the last song that I really like is Can't Do Right for Doing Wrong.
Great,
It's
great.
at least the attempt to create something more epic style, complex sound composition. But however, it remains in the end a quite simple song. It remains in total in the end a quite simple album, very straight. You can listen to it when you ride with a car on longer distance. So then it's good fun. But
I
if you, when you really want to listen to music, I think it's too simple, yeah, I think that they have done definitely better stuff.
I think the problem with this album is the timing. The year that it came out, if it was instead of Good to Be Bad in 2008, after 11 years of being absent from recordings, it would be something fresh and different for that particular year, 2008. We missed the hard rock, heavy rock. And then
Mm.
Good to Be Bad came and it was like, puff. And you were like, oh my God, here we are. It's the timing. Like, he's old. There is nothing new to show. Yeah, definitely they did
Yeah,
better stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay, my number 9 is the debut album Trouble. So, It took 10 days to record and mix this album. So it's raw. It's a raw album, but it has spicy rock riffs. It has great keyboards. It's a nice introduction to the Coverdale and the band. I love the bass line from Murray all across the album. You can hear clearly the bass leading. I love it. And another thing that I like a lot about this album is that I generally like when some songs, generally not about Whitesnake, but generally when a song starts with drums. For example, Iron Maiden, "The Prisoner." Tu, tu, pam, tu, 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 pap, tu, 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 pap, tu, 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 pam, da-da-dam, tu, 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 pam. So you have three songs in this album with completely different rhythmic parts by Dole that it shows diversity. I like it a lot. You said it again. We have Day Tripper from the Beatles, which I personally like the cover, if I may call it like that. Favorite song is by far "Time Is Right for Love." I think it's a classic, and of course I appreciate a lot the Belgian Stomp's hat trick instrumental by Moody.
Mhm.
Great. There is one song that I don't like in this album, and this is "Free Flight." I hope people are not gonna hate me about that. I just don't like this. A very, very, very nice introduction. It shows the potential of the band that goes better and better the more we go down, with exception Saints and Sinners for me, because their relationship were fucked up. So therefore, number 9, Trouble.
Fantastic. Yeah, Belgian Tom's Hat Trick is really, really a fantastic song. When they played it live, Mickey Moody and Bernie Marsden, they stood in the solo sections, in the joint solo sections, back to back, and they were sharing each guitars. So one was playing the own guitar, but taking the other hand to the neck of the other guitar, and so that's how they were playing it. There are some not so good, but there are some videos I think still available of that. So really, really excellent how they do it on stage, and it was really, really a great duo. Still love it listening to them. And unfortunately, Bernie Marsden, meanwhile, passed away. Very sad, very sad. Good. Number 8. It's the Forevermore. What shall I say about Forevermore? For me, it's the good thing is it's the return to a more blues rock based album. It has an excellent Coverdale voice. It has some return to the slide guitar. I said at the beginning, loved from the early albums the slide guitar of Mickey Moody. On this album, you have some kind of slide guitar sound again back, but unfortunately not with Mickey Moody. But in the end, it's a very solid album. I think Doug Aldrich cannot be compared with Steve Vai, of course. Cannot be compared with Adrian Vandenberg. If you ask me, he also cannot compare himself with Bernie Marsden because Bernie Marsden has his very special qualities. However, it's a very, very solid album. It has All Out of Luck. That's a very nice straight song. I listen to it very often. Um, there is the title track Forevermore, which is a very typical Coverdale ballad. I mean, in any case, there is no album of Whitesnake where there is no very solid or very strong ballads sung by David Coverdale. If he can sing one thing, then it's those classical kind of ballads. He has such a range of voice, and he has such a high level of emotions he can bring into his voice. It's absolutely fantastic. So therefore, Forevermore, I like it very much. But I also like that return to the roots. For example, with the Whipping Boy Blues, I always wonder how the Whipping Boy Blues would have sound when Mickey Moody would have still be there. If, maybe even in combination with Doug Aldrich, but with Mickey Moody with the real slide guitar and with the real sound of the first albums, I think that title would have been even much better. However, it's a great title. And I like also My Evil Ways. It has some really nice drums, and in total, it has some nice rhythm and composition things in. It has a nice speed, and it has, by the way, also some very nice guitar solos. So I don't want to say that Doug Aldrich is not a good guitar player, but I think others in the Whitesnake history and discography did fit better to Whitesnake, and so therefore it's a midfielder, and therefore ranking number 8.
All right. We have a lot to disagree on here, my friend. A lot, a lot, a lot. At first place, uh, I my number 8 is also Forevermore. So let's agree on this. That's
Good.
it's a let's agree it's a solid position. Uh, that let's start with the actual title track that it's my favorite from the album. Forevermore is not considered to be a ballad. It's it has ballad elements, but it grows up. It grows up and it hits. For me, it's a top 10 Whitesnake song, one of the best ever recorded. Phenomenal solos. Doug Aldrich playing wise as a guitar player, for me, is okay. Let's you want to compare him with Vi. Vi is a virtuoso guitar player, great, but very specific. He's not a hard rock idol like Doug Aldrich. Doug Aldrich played for Dio. Doug Aldrich is playing now with Dead Daisies. By the way, on Friday I'm going to Bratislava. He's coming with Dead Daisies. I'm going to see him live. Let's fucking go.
Great, great.
Doug Aldrich is for me, is a beast on guitars. I cannot compare him with Moody and the early guitar players. I think he kicks their asses, but it's different style.
That's it.
It's like comparing Richie Blackmore, who was like a teacher of guitars. Like he showed the way of how to compose songs and a way of style. But if you compare Blackmore with Vi, of course you're gonna say that Vi is more technical and way more
Oh,
skillful than Blackmore. But I prefer Blackmore.
yeah.
So Aldrich is Doug is highly technical, is more into the hard rock sound than the blues. You like it or you don't like it, it's okay. This is a matter of preference, obviously.
Oh,
But for me, the best combo in Whitesnake is Doug and Bitch, followed by Sykes. These two, they are. The thing about Sykes is that we saw him only in one album, and in this album, he didn't tour. So it's hard to say. We have the album to judge. I'm talking about the self-titled album 1987, which is the masterpiece, but we cannot judge it really. But if you see Whitesnake live in London, the presence from Reb Beach and Doug, it's mind blowing. And I'm gonna get back to Good to Be Bad, that it's way, way higher in my list. So Forevermore is a great, let's say, I'm not sure if the correct word is continuation from Good to Be Bad, because Doug brought fresh ideas to the band. Very, very nice, more modern, heavier sound. Way heavier than Restless Heart, way heavier than the early five, obviously. Not heavier than 1987, not heavier than Vanderberg,
oh.
but it's like a good old worn leather jacket. It's like great sound that I personally love, and by far Forevermore my favorite track. And there along the whole album, even though it's a long album, 13 songs, I cannot get enough of it. I can listen to it from the top to bottom. I Need You, One of These Days. It has heavy rock stuff. It has some nice power ballads. I love it a lot, I can say, and I'm a little bit biased because of the guitar duo Doug and Beach that I actually love a lot. So number 8, Forevermore.
Great, and I love that image of the old, long worn leather jacket. I think that that fits very well to him. And I agree. He is definitely a fantastic guitar player, but at least not my preference. I'm not that much a fan of that kind of very typical US based guitar players. I have other preference. I think Bernie Marsden is more in the composition than Doug, but let's do not debate further. It's a matter of preferences, as you said, and I
I
agree with you.
mean, composition wise, it's yeah. The thing is, playing wise, it doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily mean that whoever knows to play more and high skillful stuff that he's a better guitar player. Watch, for
oh, that's right.
example, Gilmour from Pink Floyd. Is he
Mhm.
highly technical? No, he's not. But he can play two notes in the way that you have goosebumps. So tell me what matters more, you know?
Yep.
It's, yeah,
Yeah, reminds me a bit of that long-lasting discussion in the Dream Theater area between Portnoy and Mangini. But Mangini for sure is technically the better drummer, absolutely for sure. If you put it onto a very physical basis, but if you put it onto the more emotional and band supporting and composition supporting basis, then it starts to turn into different areas. So therefore, it's always the question how much emotion, feeling, and band support is in the playing, and how much is it purely technically. And I think here you have the differentiators, and that's what music makes. Well, that's what makes music so interesting, if you ask me, because you always can
exactly.
have to discuss about that balance, and everybody has own preferences. So therefore, and that's why I love that kind of podcasts here. You can always debate about that.
I mean, you know, Coverdale never had a single bad member in the band. All
Right.
guitarists are one and one.
Absolutely.
I love Martin.
Yep.
It's just
Uh,
that, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
okay. Just out of curiosity, if you want to rank the guitar players, how would you put them? Who would
Um,
you pick number one? My number one, for example, is Sykes together with the duo Doug Aldrich.
Okay, for me, that's absolutely clear. The duo bars Marston Moody was so special that I would put them on the top of the ranking. Sykes, I
Understood.
agree with you. Sykes, I agree with you. He only had the chance to play on one album. To me, it's a little bit more the glam rock style, which I don't prefer very much, but he made an excellent job. Um, I think then already comes on my side Steve Vai, because Steve Vai, I love Steve Vai because he is so different. He is so far away from a classic hard rock guitarist, so he has his unique style. We get back to that later anyway.
I agree, but
Then
he didn't record anything. Oh, no, he
yeah,
recorded, but he
yeah,
didn't compose anything.
you're right. You're right. You're right. That's crystal clear. And after Vai, I would come to Doug Aldrich, and then Adrian Vandenberg, and also here we get back to that later. A nice guitarist, but what shall I say? Yeah, okay, good.
Number seven.
Number seven, The Restless Heart.
All right.
And I was really smiling when you said earlier that also in your case, I think you said it that way, that it reminds you a little bit of the Coverdale Page project, which was in 1993, and I think it really picks some elements of that up. Um, it's much more modern than the Coverdale Page, due to the Adrian Vandenberg guitar, which is not that complex and not that pointed as a Jimmy Page guitar can be. However, I think, and this will surprise you, but listen to the end of the sentence. To me, on the one side, it's one of the two most consistent and balanced Whitesnake albums. And I can listen to this album from the very first song to the final end without skipping. So just listening it in one shot, in one go, absolutely no problem. But exclusively when I want to be entertained and I don't want to be very much focused on the music. So when I listen to that album in the background, It can play along. It doesn't disturb me. It entertains me very well. It's very balanced. But that's exactly the point. It's maybe too much balanced, and it's not that interesting as other Whitesnake albums can be. And this is one of the reasons why I think, I mean, that there is no absolute killer song on that. The interesting thing is that this album has some very special elements which are totally far away from Whitesnake. You said it already when you spoke about the Restless Heart. I mean, it starts with the opening and the title song, Restless Heart. I mean, the first minutes, it could be even some material of Sisters of Mercy. So the way he sings, it reminds me really of some later Sisters of Mercy titles. So it's really far away from the classic Whitesnake sound. The sound crying has some nice guitar passages from Adrian Vandenberg. And I think Adrian Vandenberg, in his way, how he has the understanding of playing guitar, he dominates the album very well, which I think in the end then also is the reason that it's not that very complex album and however a very balanced and sound-wise a very traditional album. And same applies to Take Me Back Again. Nice song that picks up a little bit the blues rock history of Whitesnake, and that applies also for of course for the Woman Trouble Blues. So I always love it when in the later albums of Whitesnake they had some kind of slight return to the beginner albums where it was more to the blues rock thing, but with an interpretation of a more modern and US American sound. So that's something that makes to me Whitesnake still in the later albums quite interesting. And my favorite is the song Oi, theme for an imaginary drum solo. And why is it my favorite? First of all, it's it's the second instrumental that Whitesnake made. And it reminds me, even composition-wise, a little bit of Belgian Thomas Hattrick, but a little bit more focused on the drum section. And I think picking up all those elements of the early albums and giving these kind of songs a little bit modern interpretation of the new style after the Slide It In break and after the 1987 crash. That makes Whitesnake still interesting to me, and that's why I never would just simply say black and white. Oh, I love the new ones, not that much. I prefer the old ones. No, there is always that kind of return to the roots, and I think this is one of the strengths of the project Whitesnake.
You caught me a little bit off guard with this Oi instrumental because I haven't listened to it. And you know why?
Oh,
Because it's in the Japanese edition. So I cannot really judge it.
ah,
In the Japanese edition, there are three additional songs, and this is one of them.
oh yeah.
And I haven't listened to it. But the interesting thing about this album compared to The Sleep of the Tongue, which is my number, we are number 7, right?
Yeah, number seven. I
So,
had Restless Heart on seven, so
so
it's
my
your number seven. Yeah.
so my number 7 is Sleep of the Tongue. It's interesting to see how a player like Vanderberg can go aggressively and heavy on Sleep of the Tongue, which is a very aggressive aggro sound record. And then you have The Restless Heart that it's like love songs.
Mhm.
It's very interesting to see the diversity. So, number 7, Sleep of the Tongue. Sykes, Campbell are gone. Vanderbeek, Vi, the guitar duo, virtuosos. We can expect a bad outcome, obviously. Uh, Vanderberg had a wrist injury, as I told you before, and even though he composed everything, everything was recorded by Vi. Uh, it was a commercial success. It was. It picked top 10 in US and UK. It was a great album. But the sound of this album, even though I like a lot this album, you know, you have Sailing Ships, you have Wings of the Storm, Deeper the Love, and my personally favorite Judgment Day, which reminds me of Zeppelin, Kashmir. The the sound is far from the original Whitesnake sound, and even Coverdale said that. Like it seemed off, and he was not proud of the way it worked. He was happy that it got successful, but he was honestly not happy for the outcome.
Yeah.
Uh, Me personally, I like it. It was successful. It has these 4 or 5 songs that I said that I'm digging them constantly. Judgment Day, Let's Fucking Go, Wings of the Storm, Deeper the Love, classics. But I cannot put it higher because the higher albums are better for me. Let's go to your number 6.
That's interesting because you will now recognize that this version of our podcast is, in some cases, much less controversial than expected because my number 6 is Slip of a Tongue. And the fantastic thing is also my favorite song on Slip of the Tongue is Judgment Day. It's a fantastic song. I love it I can hear it very often. It's a really great song. It has definitely something of Led Zeppelin, so therefore we totally agree. My main judgment, not only about Judgment Day, but also about the album in total, is I think it should have been like in the case of Coverdale Page. I think if Coverdale would have recorded an album called Coverdale Way Project, I think that could have worked very well. I think putting it into the frame of the especially modern Whitesnake sound didn't work very well. But the combination of David Coverdale and Steve Vai as some very unique characters, as some kind of counterparts on each end of the scale of modern hard rock and sometimes even a little bit jazzy music, that could have worked very well. So therefore, I think that's a missed opportunity of that album. However, I love the album, especially the start, the slip of a tongue. I can imagine that any puristic Whitesnake fan must hate that song because Slip of the Tongue is very Steve Vai driven. It's very close to what Steve Vai did on at least some of his solo albums. But that's exactly what attracts me when I listen to that song. It has again a great ballad, Sailing Ships, like it, very typical David Coverdale ballad song. So can only repeat that that's exactly what David Coverdale's voice has been made for. Um, and then slow folk music. It's another example that Steve
Mm.
Vai's guitar sound fits very well to the wide vocal range of David Coverdale. So that works very well, sounds very well. Um, I agree with you. It's not one of their best albums, but in the end, it is a great album. And as said, I love the combination of Coverdale and Vai, and I don't think that Vandenberg fits into that concept very well, but that's my personal preference. So
All right.
it's number 6 on my side.
My number 6 is the second album, Love Hunter. I'm not gonna analyze the artwork again. I pretty much love it. Uh,
Absolutely,
Sexy, riding the snake. Let's go.
absolutely.
You covered me a lot when you said most of the stuff that I wanted to say back then. But I'm very surprised to see this album so low on your list, knowing that you love the old Whitesnake stuff, and Love Hunter gets a lot of love from the fan base. So I
Yeah,
have it number 6 uh, because I find it personally as an upgrade compared to the Trouble. Is more organized, bluesy, spicy. It has 4 great songs. It has Walking in the Shadow of Blues, Long Way from Home, I'm a medicine man, the doctor of love. I'm a medicine man. Like, I mean, this is Coverdale, man. This is Coverdale.
Hmm,
Medicine Man.
definitely.
There is nothing. I mean, classic. This is a classic. Uh, yeah, you covered me. Number six, Love Hunter. Lots of loves for this album. And let's go to your number five.
Okay, number five, and I could place a bet that now we need to start a debate again,
Mm-hmm.
because my number five is 1987, the
Wow.
the the big game changer album,
Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
and the fact that it is such a big game changer album was also the reason why it's only on number five.
Hmm.
I I think first of all, John Sykes, a great guitarist. I don't like that style very much, but neutrally a great guitarist.
One of
I
the
think
best. One of the best.
absolutely, 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 and I prefer his work when he was with Thin Lizzy. But anyway, he's an excellent guitarist. Period. No doubt about that. And in all honesty, the fact that John Sykes is on that album um, is the reason why it is still under my top five Whitesnake albums. Because what really disappointed me with 1987 from the very first beginning was that, if you ask me, quite messy sound. It was very much driven into that glam rock hype of the middle and late 80s. It was not very differentiated from the sound. The drum sound, if you ask me, is horrible. So when you came from a very clear and snare-driven sound of Ian Pace, and even then in the bridging period when there was that one album with Cozy Powell, very powerful, precise drums, and then you have that more meshed and almost messy sound of the drums on 1987 that was so disappointing to me, and therefore I think that that is the reason why this album missed the opportunity of being really a killer album and really one of the best albums of Whitesnake. However, the way how Sykes plays on the album is still the reason why I think it needs to be under the top five, but I would have loved a better sound. And of course, the killer songs are well, that's almost a no-brainer. I mean, Still of the Night, the title song is absolutely a killer song. Uh, Give Me All Your Love, the same. Children of the Night, really some kind of heavy metal anthem. Love it, really, really great. But in all honesty, I don't know why they made that cover versions of Crying in the Rain, and especially of Here I Go Again. Especially the case of Here I Go Again. I was so shocked when I heard that the first time because I love the original. It's one of my all-time favorites of Whitesnake because it has everything. It has that very emotional and powerful organ introduction of John Lord. It has a very slow introduction of David Coverdale's voice. And when you listen to the same song on 1987, it presses that concept of the song into the glam rock scenario, which doesn't fit at all. So therefore, I was so disappointed when I listened to that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm still totally split when I listen to 1987. And so therefore, the maximum I can give to that, and I can only repeat it, it's only because of John Sykes, is the ranking number five.
I mean, if I compare Here I Go Again, the two versions, it's kind of unfair almost to compare them because I listened first the new version and I loved it. And after listening to the old version, I'm like, oh come on, why it has to be so simple? I mean, I get it that it's the root. It started as a simple and then they made it modern. But I listened to the modern version first and I loved it so much that the old version, even though it's a classic, it seems so so simple that I personally never listen to the old version anymore. But yeah, you see, we are different generation as well, so this is the fun of the podcast. You know,
Absolutely.
we like what we like, but what I just want to comment one thing here, that it's interesting to say that you don't like the drums, because Dunbar is a drummer that has played with so many famous people. I don't know, like Zappa, Beck, some Journey, Starship, Whitesnake, Michael Schenker, UFO. You know, like many people. And I'm very surprised that you don't like the sound.
Oh, wait. Don't misunderstand me. It's not that I say I don't like the drums. I don't like the mixing sound of the drums. I think
Okay.
if you shows a different sound of the drumming, which is more close to the sound mixing for Ian Pace and Cozy Powell, I think that would have fit much better to that album. It's just the mixing. I don't know why the producer chose that kind of sound. I think it was because David Coverdale wanted explicitly to have that US American glam rock sound, and it doesn't fit even to Dunbar. Dunbar made so excellent jobs on other albums. I was really surprised and almost shocked when I listened to that composition and to that mixing quality. I think I think, in all honesty, I think the producer made a huge mistake to choose that kind of mixing version for the drum set. But anyway, that's a matter of preferences again.
Okay. Yeah, it's true. Okay, my number five is my second favorite album from the old era. I'm talking about Come and Get It, a
Mm.
phenomenal album that it was one of the most successful ones for the band. The only reason I'm putting it below Ready and Willing is that it has two songs that I usually skip, and this is Hot Stuff and Girl. I'm not dying for these two, and this is the only reason that it goes under the Ready and Willing. Great, great bluesy rock sound. That's the typical Whitesnake sound, what we saw in the first three records. You have Don't Break My Heart Again, like what can we say? One of the best songs they ever wrote. We have Lonely Days, Lonely Nights, which for me is probably the best slow blues Whitesnake ballad. Child of Babylon, like great stuff. Number five, I think from 13 albums, number five is a very solid position to put Come and Get It.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm a bit surprised that it's so high in your ranking. I thought it would be a little bit more low, knowing a little bit now. Meanwhile, your preferences, but anyway, no, it's and I agree, and you will recognize later. I like that album very much. Yeah, definitely. Good. So I think then it's my number four, isn't it?
Yes.
And my number four is the best Whitesnake album of the more modern heavy era, and this is Still Good to Be Bad. It took me a while to rank it on four. It floated over the past weeks between 10 and 4, back and forth. I cannot explain how this worked in the end. It took me really some time to get deeper into that album, and I recognized one reason why I at the beginning didn't like that album that much was that in this case I don't like the sound of the mixing of David Coverdale's voice. It sounds in some titles of the album as if some very crucial elements of the characteristic of David Coverdale's voice was filtered out. And when I recognized that, then I said, okay, let's give it a fair chance. Let's listen more to the compositions and think yourself that there could be another version of David Coverdale's voice. And then the titles got better and better. And so therefore, I came to the conclusion in the end, if it would have had another sound mixing also in this case, especially for the voice, then I think it's in the end the best Whitesnake album of that more modern era. And it starts especially, and this is always a killer for me, the impressive opening song, Best Years. I love that. It has an awesome Hammond organ in the background. It's a very catchy composition. So this is how a hard rock, a modern hard rock and almost heavy album needs to start with. And then it continues with "Can you hear the wind blow?" So excuse my
Fi-
French, but this song is a kick in your ass. It's such a fantastic, phenomenal song. It has a nice guitar riff at the beginning. Then David Coverdale's voice kicks in, and then it drives along with a very straight scenario. Absolutely fantastic. Love that song. Love that song. It's one of my favorites from Whitesnake in total.
uh,
And then
no,
yeah. Sorry, yeah, you.
no, I just wanted to say that this album is the definition of Doug Aldrich. What you listen is Doug Aldrich. And
Yeah,
that's why I'm surprised that you are putting him so low, because this album, this sound, what you hear, that it came in 2008 after the 11 years from The Restless Heart, and it kicks your ass like that, like a punch to your face. This is the warm, heavy hard rock that I love about Aldrich. And this, can you hear the wind blow? It's the typical that it's a banger.
yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. I agree. And that shows it's not the case that I say that Doug Aldrich is not a good guitarist. I think here on this album he makes an excellent job, and also composition-wise, the album is otherwise it would not be on number four on my side. Um, in the earlier case when we had the debate about Doug Aldrich, I think it went not that well, but that's a matter of preference when it comes to sound. So, but as you said, he is a great guitarist for sure, no doubt about that. And then just to wrap up the album, Still Good to Be Bad. I love the song Till the End of Time because this is on this album a little bit the return to back to the roots. It's not that strong like, for example, Till the Day I Die, which I love and I admire that song. It's absolutely phenomenal and fantastic. But it picks up the tradition of that kind of songs, and so Till the End of Time is a nice song. And of course, also this album has the great Coverdale ballad, and in this case, it's All I Want, All I Need.
Uh,
Fantastic. You can listen to it wherever you are. It always works. It always works. Like it.
you know what's the funny part? That all of the singles of this album they failed to chart, all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, Summer Rain is in top five Whitesnake ballads. For me,
Oh, really? Okay.
the first time I listened to the song, I was driving, and I don't know how, but I had tears in my eyes, man. Honestly, swear to
Ah,
God,
great.
it's like a
Great.
it's like a warm, like a beautiful fine wine. Coverdale's voice, great stuff.
Great. Great. I also like that picture. Yes, a fine wine. That's the right comparison with most of these slow songs sung by David Coverdale. Definitely. I have two editions when it comes to Still Good to Be Bad, because
By the way,
believe me or not, it took, yeah.
it's good to be bad. Still good to be bad. It's an extra edition.
Ah, okay, okay, good. I didn't know that. Um, I made two observations, and it took me some time. The longer I was listening to that album, I noticed that there are two songs where they, or maybe David Coverdale himself, stolen some old material, at least partly. And believe me or not, if you listen to the title track, Good to Be Bad, and then you listen to Love Ain't No Stranger from Slide It In, give it a
Hmm.
test. It has so many similarities. It's so hilarious. I thought by myself, I heard that song before. Where is it? And then I was just flipping back and I said, it's Love Ain't No Stranger. And the funny thing is, if you listen to A Fool in Love, believe me or not, listen first to A Fool in Love and then listen to Crying in the Rain. So many similarities. It's really funny to see that, to listen to that. Um, and I think that's not untypical for David Coverdale. He loves to pick up things that he did before, put it into a new scenario, and mix it with some fresh elements. So I think that's okay that he does so. But it was on this album, it was really surprising to me that two songs were so close to older Whitesnake songs that I also both like, by the way. So therefore, very interesting for me.
Uh, just one question. You said "Crying in the Rain."
Yeah, when you listen to A Fool in Love.
Uh, wait, "Crying in the Rain" is not on this album, though.
No.
Yeah,
On
you are
this album,
you are
it's A Fool in
then.
Love. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, my bad. I was
No, no
confused.
worries, no worries,
Yeah,
no worries.
a Fool in Love. I was
Give
trying.
it a chance later. Yeah, it's A Fool in Love. It's really close to Crying in the Rain, if you ask me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I hear this out of that.
I will. I will listen and I will let you know.
Perfect. Thank you.
Uh, but I like a lot the songs you mentioned actually. But when I first listened to "Good to Be Bad," I didn't notice this, especially with "The Love and a Stranger," because I know both of the songs very well. I
Mhm.
like them both, but it didn't hit me. For example, it hit me more like "Forevermore" and maybe "Sailing Ships," that they're
Yeah.
sharing some stuff, maybe.
Okay.
But okay, anyways, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's a great album.
It is. It is definitely. It is.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it short for my number four. Sweet satisfaction, ready and willing, sweet satisfaction. Uh, Pace is a great drummer that totally matched the sound of the band. Ready and Willing is my number four. It's my favorite oldie when it comes to the Whitesnake. And it was actually the first album to chart also outside of the UK. It keeps the elements that we love about the old Whitesnake album. I find it more composed and more organized in a better style than Trouble and Love Hunter. For me, it's the best album when it comes to Coverdale. Coverdale is the Whitesnake. Whitesnake is Coverdale. Everybody needs
Yep.
to accept that. This is how it is. These are facts. And for me, Coverdale, he shines in every single album, but in this one specifically, for me, it's out of the top of the top when it comes to the vocal lines and everything. You have Fool for Your Loving, you have Ready and Willing, you have Love Man. I mean, awesome vibratos, emotional songs. Fool for Your Loving, I'm pretty sure you like the original version. I like more the modern, but okay, whatever. It's again because I listened to the modern version first. But it's, I mean, I cannot say a single bad word about this album. When it comes to my top four, according to the mood of the day, I can change positions. All of the
Mm.
albums, 4, 3, 2, and 1, are for me 10 out of 10. So, Ready and Willing is great album, one of my favorites, and the title track Ready and Willing is my favorite album from this song. And number 4.
Fantastic. And what you said at the end, what applies to your numbers 4 to 1, applies exactly to my 3 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So 3, 2, and 1, I can shuffle around. We can draw some sticks or we can throw a coin, whatever you like. It always fits. However, I had to make a ranking. So therefore, on 3 is the first commercial success, a bit commercial success of Whitesnake, which is the album Saints and Sinners. I love when I listen to that album, the nice rough hard rock sound. I love especially the Ian Pace sound on that album. He's such a phenomenal drummer. I think he's one of the most underestimated drummers in rock history, if you ask me. He's such an excellent team player. He comes from the swing, and he transfers this into a very hard drum beat for the rock and almost heavy metal sound. Absolutely excellent. I really admire that guy. Um, and by the way, we talked about the artwork of Love Hunter, and the artwork of Saints and Sinners was a little bit the ironic reply to the long debates from the Love Hunter artwork, because they said, well, if we take some kind of classic statue and take this as a picture, it has the same elements, especially when it's about naked women, but no one can say anything against it because it's a piece of artwork. So let's give it a try and put it on the cover of the album, and let's see how people will react. And it was exactly that way.
Nobody
People
said
were saying,
anything.
well, it's no, because well it's again a little bit it smells because it's so much related to sex, so therefore what shall we say. But it was not the same. Today we would say shitstorm. It was not the same shitstorm like it was with the Lavender, and that shows especially the discussion in the United States, how the discussion of that kind of topics works in the US. So it was so hilarious to me. And I like both artworks, to be honest, both in its very specifics. Coming back to the music of the album, I mean, Youngblood is a fantastic opener again. Bloody Luxury picks it up. Again, it's supported by the incredible drum sound of Ian Pace. And I love, especially with Bloody Luxury, the fantastic harmony between Bernie Marsden and Mickey Moody. I think both as individual guitarists. I mean, Marston made some solo albums. That's okay, but it was always the combination between Marston and Moody that made the thing so unique. And so therefore, both solo, not too bad, but both together, absolutely excellent and absolutely the ones that can make the difference in such kind of a band. And then, of course, my absolutely two favorite songs on this album. First of all, Crying in the Rain. We had that short debate. I knew for a long period only this, let me say, old version, because I'm an old man. And I loved it. I loved it from a very first beginning. It's
Phenomenal song.
really
Phenomenal song.
absolutely it's a little bit of a mini epic because it's constructed. It has a storyline in the melodics and everything. Absolutely phenomenal song. And then my absolutely top song on this album is Here I Go Again. I love this song. It's for me so typical Coverdale. It's also so typical John Lord. It's so typical Ian Pace. So
It's the
you
most
know me.
famous.
Meanwhile, I'm
It's the most famous
yeah,
Whitesnake song.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
It's not
absolutely.
Still of the
And I
Night. It's Here I Go Again.
yeah, it is definitely. And I mean, I have a very strong Deep Purple background. I grew up with Deep Purple, so therefore I always love to listen to such kind of combinations of Coverdale, Pace, and Lord. Excellent. So therefore, Here I Go Again. Absolute top of the songs of Whitesnake, if you ask me. And but if I look at the complete album of Saints and Sinners, because it also has some songs which I don't think are that excellent, so therefore it made it in the end on ranking number three.
I feel kind of bad for putting Saints and Sinners so low in my ranking list, but as I said before, it's not a bad album. I just like half of it so much that
Yeah.
half of the album it's so much better than the other half. And for me, this drops it very bad down. I cannot get excited with Ballad Luxury, for example. I just can't. But you can. So that's the magic in that, you know. Everybody's gonna say, "Here I go again, crying in the rain. Let's fucking go, this White Snake." Yeah,
Yeah,
but
exactly,
not
absolutely.
everybody's gonna say Blood Luxury, baby. Where is it? Why they're not in the playlist? N- You know. But yeah, that's
You're
the
right. You're right.
that's the magic. My number three
That's it.
is Good to Be Bad. Uh, I analyzed a lot. I think it would be better name album, Good to Be Back. It's 11 years after 1997. Too bad it's not like this. Uh, like we analyzed it a lot. Uh, this beautiful modern hard rock heavy sound. I will just keep it very short. This album is it simply rocks. It kicks asses. It's heavy, heavier, not that heavy, but heavier. And you have Can You Hear the Wind Blow, Best Years, Lay Down Your Love, All Your Love. Every single tune is killer. There is nothing not to like. And this is the reason why I'm a huge fan of Aldrich, and I personally love it in Whitesnake because of this album. Because it's different to play live songs that other guitarists composed and be an
Yeah.
awesome guitarist and play them. Okay. But when it comes to the composition, I cannot say Vi is a Whitesnake guitarist. He never was. He just recorded, but he did never play live. He
Yeah.
didn't compose. He
Yeah.
played live,
Yeah.
but he didn't compose.
Yeah.
So Good to Be Bad is for me a heavy hard rock fucking masterpiece that I'm digging it non-stop at work the last month. My nurse is asking me again this. I was like, Doug Aldrich, baby, let's go. So yeah. So yeah, let's go.
Fantastic.
We're going to number 2 and 1.
Okay.
You can say both of them now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's especially now the case where it depends on the mood I'm in, and I really can throw a coin. So I finally decided to put "Come and Get It" on 2 and "Ready and Willing" on 1.
Great, great,
And
great
I can
picks.
and yeah, so so phenomenal both albums. Um, I think "Come and Get It" normally should have some preferences because it has two more epic kind of songs. So it's very nice with "Till the Day I Die" and with "Child of Babylon." So love that kind of two songs. But the most important thing of "Come and Get It" is, and you know me meanwhile quite well, I love it when an album has a great opener and a great closing song, which designs some kind of a frame for the album. And in between, there is a mixture of things that make the band so typical. And this is exactly how Come and Get It is constructed. So it has the very awesome opener, the title track, Come and Get It. It ends with Till the Day I Die. It has another very well constructed title, Child of Babylon. Then in between, with some really awesome Bernie Marsden solo elements, especially at the end of this song, by the way. Um, then it has the very traditional blues rock based Wine, Women, and Song with an absolutely incredible John Lord on piano. It's that fantastic. And then, of course, never forget "Don't Break My Heart Again." It's I think one of the rare radio chart songs that they had in this first era, when especially John Lord was with him. "Don't Break My Heart Again." It's not my all-time favorite, but of course it's an absolutely killer song. And since "Don't Break My Heart Again" is not that kind of my favorite song, and also due to some other facts, especially that I don't admire that much hard stuff. You named it before, so that's the reason why it's on number 2, and why "Ready and Willing" is on number 1. I will explain later.
You can if you want. I mean, there's no surprise
Should
here.
I? Should I? Should I? Okay, I can also swiftly continue, because the number 1 for me is really "Ready and Willing," and I can only repeat what you said. It's an absolutely fantastic example of the wide range and the variety of David Coverdale's voice. And I mean, if you look back where David Coverdale came from, because before he joined Deep Purple, I mean, he was even not a professional singer when he handed over his application. He
He
saw
was
he
not.
saw the advertisement. He saw the advertisement in the Melody Maker, and he was selling man clothes in a dressing shop. So he had only few experiences with some quite amateur bands, And Richie Blackmore was so fascinated from his voice that he said, we need that guy. But the funny thing is, he was not 110% convinced that David Coverdale would work, especially when it goes on tour. And that was one of the reasons why they took Glenn Hughes as a bassist, because he has that very high tone voice, which always, and when it comes to doubt, can balance out things. So I think that was some kind of safety net under the very new introduction of David Coverdale. But it turned out that it was not necessary, because it was just they were working very well together, Coverdale and Hughes. So, but let's don't talk about Deep Purple. That's another story. But recognizing that David Coverdale came from that amateur part and so quickly went into the professional music and then dominated a history of Whitesnake in that way, I can only tip my hat and say I really think he's a very great musician. I don't understand every of his decisions when it goes through the discography of Whitesnake, but however, he's a great guy, and he has an exceptional voice. And yeah, if we walk through this album, I mean, this is the second album which I find very consistent, but on a much higher level compared to the Restless Heart, where I also say it's very consistent. But this here is really, I can listen to this as if it would be one song. I can listen to it in a very concentrated way. No single song is boring. Every song has an own characteristic. It's not only "Fool for Your Loving," which many people know, but it's also, as you already mentioned, "Carry Your Load." A fantastic song, and Blind Man. Never underestimate Blind Man, because it's not a typical ballad.
It's
It's really
great.
something that also has a very special flow. It's not a simple ballad. It shows how unique the voice of Coverdale is. And then of course, Ain't Gonna Cry No More. It's one of my favorite more epic songs of Whitesnake. I love that song. Very well constructed, very nice harmonies inside. So that's absolutely great. And then there is Black and Blue. That's an awesome blues rock anthems. And so therefore,
Ah,
you
okay.
have in that you have in that album, you have everything that makes Whitesnake Whitesnake, especially for the first era. And so therefore, my final decision was yes, Ready and Willing is the best album of Whitesnake.
I mean, if I want to listen to rock blues and spicy stuff, this is my go-to. I'm just more of a hard rock guy. That's why I have three
Yeah,
albums ahead of it.
yeah,
But yeah, it's a phenomenal masterpiece. It's like insane good album. My number two,
good to hear. Fantastic.
my number two compared to you is actually Slide It In.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was shocked when you said that. I don't remember in what position you had it. You had it maybe number 10 or
I think it was 10. Yeah, yeah. I just have to look it up. I think it's
I mean it's a
yeah, it's
new
10. 10, yeah.
I mean, you said it nice. It's a new era for Whitesnake, 1984. It's like a
Yeah.
bridge. You have US version, you have UK version. You like more the UK. I like more the US because of Sykes and other
Hmm.
members,
Hmm.
Murray, Powell, Galley, etc.
Hmm.
Uh, but I mean, slow and easy. Slide it in. Standing in the shadow of love. One of my favorite songs. Guilty of love, loving no stranger. So many hits, one after another. Such a phenomenal for me album that actually you say you don't like Sykes, you have the UK version. You like a little bit more modern, you have the US version. It gives you the option to choose also because
Right.
they are different. They're not that different. Like you're listening to different songs. They are the same songs with different
Yeah.
guitar playing on it, obviously. But uh, for me, Slide It In is a sudden, unexpected, beautiful, surprising surprise when it comes to the White Snake. And I, I, I thought, I thought I'm gonna have it top one actually,
Okay,
but as I said,
interesting.
the first 3 4 albums, according to the mood, yeah. So, uh, man, I was really shocked when I saw you putting that. I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna fight today.
No, it was not that extreme, I think. No, serious.
uh, okay, number one is the background of our today's podcasts. Not because it's my favorite album, but because the actual artwork is great. It's like mature gold. It's like, let's go. What you need from a hard rock band? 1987, or Serpens albus in Latin.
Hmm.
Uh, it's a pity not to see Sykes playing live. It's the sound. It's so unique. I mean, I'm like, the first time I listened to the sound of this record, okay, everybody falls in love with Still of the Night. There is no person who doesn't like Still of the Night. Otherwise, they're not Whitesnake fans. But I was listening to the album for the first time, I don't remember, many years ago, and somebody told me, oh my god, this album is John Sykes. Go listen to Blue Murder. Blue Murder first album.
Hmm.
I'm putting in YouTube very, very fast, straight that second. And man,
Hmm.
the sound is the same from this
Really?
1987. The sound. I don't know how he did it. Uh, I don't know what to say about this album, man. I love everything about it. There is no single song that I don't like. Still of the Night, by far my favorite. It's a heavy
Hmm.
hard rock sound with metal songs as well. Doesn't follow the blues at all. Still of the Night, I get chills in my spine every time I listen to it. I mean, it's just this. It bothers me that we didn't see the original lineup on tour with this because it would be great. And actually, for the video clip, if I'm not mistaken, Campbell and Vanderberg are playing instead of Sykes, like YOLO, whatever. Uh, 1987 is a single year that it's magical for Whitesnake. It was huge success. Many songs from this album are constantly on tour set lists. I think most of the people have it in top three. You have it in top five. I get it. Uh, it's for me the best heavy hard rock Whitesnake album, in the same style that Ready and Willing is the best blues album. So it's the same, and that's why it's
Yeah,
in my top
yeah.
10. I fucking love it.
Great,
And
great analysis.
like that, we made it to the end for one more great podcast with you, buddy. I was getting so excited about Whitesnake with you because it's such a great band, man. Such a great band.
Absolutely,
And I'm getting
absolutely. And I think the interesting background is, I mean, we come from two different generations. If I may stress that, I mean, I'm almost very close to the 60s, so therefore I'm much older than you. So therefore, by nature, I grew up more with the older Whitesnake songs, and it was so interesting to me when I listened to the more modern Whitesnake songs that the more I was listening to it, the more fascinated I was, and I was really surprised. And it seems to be that in your case it was the other way around. You grew up more with the more modern songs, and then you made a deep dive into the older songs, and then I think we both recognize that this is really a very complex discography of Coverdale projects.
you
Absolutely
just said it
excellent.
perfectly. I started with the modern. You started with the old, and we both realized that both eras are so awesome.
Isn't it great? Isn't it great?
It's
Ah,
the,
that's
this
that's
is the magic. This is the magic of the band. This is the
that's
magic
so
of
fantastic.
Coverdale.
Absolutely, absolutely,
You know,
absolutely. And the
you
magic
have a
of music,
lineup.
by the way. It's yeah. Yeah.
You have a lineup like that doing bluesy rock, and all of a sudden you see the future and you say the future is going into heavy hard rock
Yeah.
glam sound. Let's change into that. Fire
Yeah.
everybody, and it worked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hats, hats off.
Never be
Hats
afraid
off.
of changes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. No, I think
Talk,
it was a good one.
yeah,
Thanks for that.
it was. It was. Talking rock fans, are you still with us? Oh my god, let's see the time. It's 1 hour and 34 minutes for 13 albums. This is the true love about Whitesnake. That it's such a beautiful long
Absolutely.
podcast. If you are still with us and if you made it until the end, let us know which is your ranking list in the comments. We would love to start a discussion. And let us know whose list was better, mine or Rainer's. And we're going to see you very soon with the top 10 Whitesnake songs within the 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that. See you in the next episode. And Talking Rock, baby, thank you for joining us today. Rainer, thank you so much once again. See you in the next time, buddy.
Michael, thanks for being again such a great host. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you, man.
Already
Appreciate it.
curious how it works the next time. Okay, see you next time. Thanks, Michael. See you.
All the best. Bye, man.
Bye bye.